Jordan, obviously it's been a while since you've had your hand raised in victory. Can you just kind of like talk?
Put pressure on him and make him flinch, make him react, and go top to bottom, whether that be kicks to punches to takedowns to whatever it took to win.
Did you want it? I think the last 2 rounds were pretty much on the ground. Is that you just going where the fight went, or did you want to keep it standing?
I just was going where the fight went. He went for a takedown on me. I think it was in the 2nd round. They gave up his back, and I ended up taking him down and finishing the round on top. And got a nice takedown, a big hip throw there. So that'll be nice for the highlight reel.
What did it feel like to get that hand raised? It's been almost 3 years since you got your hand raised. Like, did you that feeling? What did that feel like? As doing this most of your life now?
Yeah, it felt great. What felt even better is knowing that I pushed my hardest and I left it all on the line in there, and I gave it my all. That's what feels the best. Whether I have my hand raised or not, it's whether or not I'm going out there and fighting with all my heart.
Did you feel that way in your previous 2 losses? If your comeback, did you feel like your heart wasn't there, or you still?
I just didn't have as much aggression as I have in the past, and I made sure that wasn't the case tonight. And I put it all together with some aggression and got the job done.
You spoke a little bit about game plan. Eric's sometimes regarded as a brawler. Was the game plan to go in there and neutralize that? Not that there was flurries exchanged between you two, but you seemed to control him most of the fight.
Yeah, well, when you make a miss and they're second-guessing themselves and then they're flinching, that's what's controlling him. And when they're feeling like they're missing and they can't touch you and then you're hitting them, it messes with their head, messes with their mind, and it makes them second-guess coming in on you, and that's what I did.
A little extra boost picking up one in Canada opposed to somewhere else?
Yeah, I know. It feels great, and my bank account's going to feel really even better.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Have you got any idea of an opponent that you'd like to fight next?
I don't. It's the opponent is myself in there, and pushing myself and going out and fighting with my heart and everything I have.
Thanks
Cool.
so much.
Thanks.
Mi ha sorpreso, ma eravamo pronti a tutto perché sapevamo che era un fighter molto imprevedibile, quindi sì, mi ha sorpreso, ma eravamo pronti a tutto.
Yeah, he got surprised by it, but we were ready for everything because we knew that his main feature that he's very unpredictable fighter. So we really didn't know his game plan about this opponent. I mean, we didn't know, so we just were ready for everything.
And can you talk about the final knee? Was it something you saw during the fight, or you planned beforehand?
La ginocchiata è una cosa che ha allenato o è nata così?
L'ho allenata molto sul naso del mio allenatore, purtroppo. Però a parte gli scherzi, sono appunto dei colpi fondamentali che devi sapere, che sono i diretti di braccia, i circolari di braccia, come le ginocchiate, le guidate, che non tutte sono tirate a dovere, appunto perché va di moda questa nuova era del fight.
He thinks that knees, like straight punches, hooks on elbows, are fundamentals that not everybody knows how to throw, because there is a new way of fighting that he doesn't like. And yes, we did train that a lot, and he said he trained that on my face because actually he called me last week in training, so yeah, we actually planned that a lot.
And
the tight clinch, yeah.
And the knee, did it just, for you, did it land really hard, or was it the placement? Like, what made him just go out like that?
Chi lo sa, iniziamo a vedere i vinci.
Who knows? He said, who knows?
The UFC hasn't been to Italy yet. Are you hoping that you and other MMA fighters, from Italy can help, push that forward and make that a reality?
I understood that.
Il mio sogno è che ci sia UFC al Colosseo.
His dream is the UFC inside the Colosseum because we are from Rome.
Right.
So his dream is the UFC to bring it to Italy, actually inside the Colosseum.
Nice. And is there any opponent in mind, somebody that you'd like to kind of face in the future?
Vorrei il rematch contro Eric Spicely, perché non ha combattuto bene.
He would like a rematch with Eric Spicely that did in January because he didn't fight the way he was supposed to.
What would you do differently if you did fight Eric Spicely again?
knock him out.
And can you just tell us about MMA in Italy? Is it as popular as here, or do people just not know about it out there?
I think, io penso che agli italiani piace molto il combattimento, siamo molto forti nella Muay Thai e nella kickboxing, che si sono un po' persi ultimamente, però per fortuna che nell'MMA ci sta l'UFC che guida un po' il movimento, abbiamo l'occasione di colpire tutte le forze nell'MMA.
He thinks that in Italy people love fighting, just the tradition is more about kickboxing and Muay Thai, but actually now with UFC that brings the whole movement about fighting together, MMA is getting bigger, and the hope that in Italy would be, it's not like here of course or US, but it's taking over as well on the other contact sports.
Cool.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Well, first of all, congratulations on the win. How much of moving to Rufus Sport and the changes that you made and the new training partners and the strategy came into play for this particular fight for you?
I mean, it was a big factor. It's a combination of stuff. You see, the thing is about me, it's always about an emotional connection with certain things. You know what I mean? And obviously, making the move was very hard for me because my character. You know what I mean? I'm very samurai spirit, the martial arts spirit. It's always about loyalty, strength, and honor. And you know what I mean? So the change was hard because obviously nobody wants to have a breakup in a relation. You know, it's like you're married for 20 years and now you guys go apart. You know what I mean? So with that being said, lived in Montreal, was raised in Canada. It was had a lot of struggle, had a lot of doubts and a lot of uncertainty. You know what I mean? So I'm just very happy that I connected with Duke. You know, he has a lot of experience, a great bunch of guys. You know, good spirit, all a bunch of great fighters, and I'm just happy to feel that sense of connection with my trainer and with my team.
You spoke a little bit about martial arts. Can you explain what happened there at the very end of the fight? We kind of missed what happened, but you were having some work.
You know, anyone that knows me, I'm very emotional. You know, I'm an emotional guy. You know, in the sense of I do things with my heart. I've been doing martial arts since the age of 6. I had some ups and downs. It was a tough couple of years for me. You know what I mean? I was a lot of things people don't know. You know, people don't look at. People just see the fighting and they see on the cameras, but they don't know the fighter's life is a very lonely life. You know what I mean? You're in your head a lot. You know what I mean? It's a tough road, and it was just emotion, a lot of emotions. That's it. Just a lot of emotions because Abel was talking about stuff. My opponent was talking about stuff. Whatever it is, what it is. Now it's the past.
Well, it looked like you went over.
I just had to let go some steam.
Gotcha. It looked like you went over at the end. You finally went over to shake his hand. You whispered something in his ear. What did you say to him there?
I just said I respect him a lot, and I trained very hard for him. You know.
Well, speaking of him, what was the game plan coming in for him? What were you expecting him to do, and what did he maybe surprise you with?
Just listening to my trainer, listening to Duke. The game plan was to let him gas out, be composed, stay calm. Even when he hits me with big shots, he got me with some good shots, and I had to kind of take the shots, and you know what I mean, and just kind of be patient and let him, and like Duke said, let him fall into your sword, let him fall on the sword.
Can you talk about anything maybe you've learned as a martial artist the last year training with Rufus?
Yeah, man, I learned a lot. This whole year was a big, as a man, as an individual, I learned in a sense of how to become more independent, how to have more confidence in myself. And in the past, I kind of depended too much on external. I depended too much on external things to make me feel confident. You know, and being alone and having a lot of struggles this whole year, it really defined me as a man, and I had a lot of questioning. You know, questioning which direction do I take? You know, in my personal life and in my career life.
I mean, it's a cliche, but did you really feel you learned a lot from your last loss, as maybe just as a person?
I mean, the thing about fighting is this: as a fighter, you always want to be on the field. You know, you want to be the best, you want to be the strongest, you want to have the best skills. You know, it's all mental, right? And the thing is about
all my life, a lot of things happened to me, and I just didn't know how to deal with them. You know, I didn't know how to deal with change. I didn't know how to deal with, you know, like nobody talks to you about. Everybody teaches you how to throw a punch. Everybody teaches. Anybody can hold pads for you. Anybody can, you know, say you're the best, and anybody can lie to you. But to be 100% honest to yourself and to have people around you who are actually genuine in the sense where they care about you on an emotional level, you know, not just physical. You know, I mean, it's complicated. Only fighters understand this. It's not anybody understands this. You know? That's why like fighting for us is therapeutic. You know what I mean? It's something in your. It's more than just the physical because it really tests your skills. It tests you as a human being. You know what I mean? So it really makes you grow. And of course, life is learning experience. I learn every day. You know what I mean? Obviously, it was a tough loss in the last fight, and it is what it is. You know what I mean? You have to just get back up on the horse.
You know, there's no easy fights in the UFC, but is the one thing that I think has been missing on your record is this consistency and putting a streak together. And do you think now you're in a place at Rufus Sport that you can put a nice streak together?
Honestly, man, if I could predict the future, I wish I could predict the future. I can't. You know, the only thing I can do is live day by day, be the best I can be every day. You know what I mean? Just focus on personal growth. I'm in my 30s now. I don't think the same when I was in my 20s. You know, I don't think the same when I was in my teenage years. My goal is to try to find inner peace in the sense where I can try to separate personal and my fighting career because it kind of consumed me. You know what I mean? I didn't know who fighting and training can really play with your mind. You know what I mean?
How active do you hope to be in 2018? How many fights are you hoping to have next year?
I mean, God willing, you know, I want to be 3 fights a year is good, you know. 3 fights a year is good to try to get back to the title. I envision myself. I had a title contention when I fought Donald Cerrone when I fought 2 weeks notice, but hopefully this time around I have a better training camp, I have a better preparation, and hopefully by the age of 35 or something, maybe we'll see what happens because I want to be a champion. I'm not in the sport to just come for a paycheck. It's not about the money because the money is a bonus, you know. But for me, I want to be I want my legacy. I fight for my legacy.
Is there anyone that makes sense for you next?
Honestly, they're all top guys. I want to, you know what I mean? I truly believe that I fought tough opponents, and I want to fight a top 15 guy for sure. You know, I find that my career is kind of been awkward in a sense where they'll give me a guy who's been around the game for a long time, and then they give me a newcomer, and then they give me. I just feel like it's kind of confusing for me in a sense where it plays mind games because it's like you're fighting a guy like Donald Cerrone, and then they give you a guy who just came into the UFC, and then they give you another guy who's been in the UFC, and then, so it kind of confused me. You know what I mean? I believe I should fight guys who've been, like, you know what I mean, in the UFC for in the top. You know what I mean? And it's, what I mean by the top, I don't mean like top 10, 15, just guys who are more experienced, guys who've been around the game for longer. You know?
Thank you.
Perfect.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations, Nordine. That was an amazing kind of combination of the head kick and then the right across. And what was the strategy coming into this fight against Danny?
The strategy was simple. Stay composed, stay focused, take an angle. Like we know we studied him well and we knew his weapons. So I had nothing to be surprised of what he's going to give it to me. So just stay focused, whatever he comes, and just hit at the right time. That's what he did.
Is it kind of weird to compose yourself when you land an amazing shot, and just to kind of remain focused, the task at hand, to make sure you follow through and finish the fight, or you know when you connect, does it kind of give you some sort of, I suppose, energy where you aren't able to control your actions? How do you kind of focus in that moment?
With this kick, it wasn't a power kick. I just threw the kick to see what happened and to see like his reaction and get my range. But he landed just at the right place, right moment. So just move forward and maximize right hand, make sure that the job is done. So and that's what I drilled like 1,000 times. Not only this camp, many camps ago. So I'm happy
the finish.
How?
Is the right cross, is that part of a combination, or you just saw that and he was up against the cage?
Yeah, but his strength is that's his left side. Me, I'm a right-handed, so my strong is the right side. So if I would be at this position, that's what he would do to me. So it's just, striking strategy. This side is strong, so just find the angle and go for my strong side.
When you saw that he was rocked from the kick, as a fighter, what goes on in your mind in that split second? Does everything slow down, or is it super fast?
My head was finish. So unfortunately, it's a fight, but I was going for the kill. Only a referee can stop me. I don't know what kind of mindset I am at this moment, and I don't know how far I can go on the finish if it would be no referee. So only a referee can stop me. I would do a mess if it is not a referee.
How flush was that kick? Because it was hard to tell how much of your foot actually made contact with him. If you had to put a percentage of how strong or how much you actually connected, how flush was that kick?
My kick was on the full speed, but not on the full strength. I mean, there's different kicks. I'm a high-level striker, so I can manage with it with the speed and the strength. It's different. And it just landed at the right place, the right moment, and just at the end of the shin, and was just enough to rob him, and me, I just come with my power shot and knocked him out.
Do you think he surprised him with him? Because he only put the one hand up to kind of block it. Do you think he maybe was a little surprised that it was going up to the head?
Yeah, he looked pretty much surprised. For sure. He didn't know what happened, poor guy. But I hope he's going well.
Well, where do you think a win like this, and especially with such an exciting finish, where do you think that places you in the division?
It places me to a serious guy, a serious prospect in the division and in the UFC, And I'm hoping that this fight will be seen a lot. Then I will be promoted. Then the UFC will give me the support. And I hope I get the fight of the night as well, because I think I deserve it. It's less than 1 minute fight, knockout, cold. So I think I deserve it.
How busy do you want to be in 2018, and who makes sense possibly for your next fight?
I want to be busy. Like this year, I made 3 fights. Happy to close the last fight of the year this way. I want to go for 4 or 5 fights. Depend my health. Depend what kind of fight I meet. You know what I mean? The fight like tonight, I can make 10. You know what I mean? It's like it depends on how it goes, And I have a healthy lifestyle. I'm not the kind of guy who's gonna celebrate like a crazy, Like I'm very conscious about my body and how to treat it. So as long as I'm healthy, I can stay pretty much active.
Does anybody who makes sense for you next?
Somebody. I cannot say somebody serious because somebody serious because this Danny Robertson wasn't somebody serious, but somebody like top 10 or something.
And is it a good time of year?
If the money is right, because I need to see how things happen. But I'm a serious guy. I'm a prospect, and I'm looking forward to this division. And I came in this fight game to be a champion. You know what I mean? So let's see what happens. But my mindset didn't change.
Is this a good time of year to be fighting now? The fight's out of the way. You can enjoy Christmas and New Year's because like other fighters are fighting in January and they're going to have to be kind of really focused during this period.
Yeah. It's the perfect momentum. I was praying so hard to have a fight just before Christmas. You know something will happen. I just got married this year.
Oh,
I had a baby as well, and he's 2 months tomorrow. So it's kind of and it's already 2 months because they are my family living in France now, south of France. So that's his birthday actually. So it's a beautiful victory for my son Ilya for his birthday. So I'm so happy it happened, and I hope I have a great future in this fight game again.
You mentioned if the money's right, are you a free agent now? Are you trying to renegotiate your contract?
Yeah, you know, it's my last fight. I won 17, and I love UFC. I love where I am, and I've trained so hard, and I fought so hard on the little division before I make it up in UFC. It was so hard for me to make it up to UFC, and I love UFC. So I'm looking forward to stay with the company and negotiate. Let's see how it goes, because I'm also looking for 185 division. Because as getting old, it's a little bit more difficult to make weight and recover and stuff. And I think I could be more active at 185, because it's less stress for the body to get weight. So let's see.
So you're going to be a free agent now, right?
Yeah.
Are you going to actually go and speak to other promotions, or do you just want to speak to the UFC?
No, I'm not going to go to speak with the UFC. I'm always to the other promotions.
Right.
No, like I said, I love UFC, and I worked so hard to be at this place today, and I'm not about to leave UFC. I just want the best for both of us. I mean, for me, for my family, and I'm pretty sure they will understand, and we will find the perfect range, to stay together and stuff. So UFC is the most prestigious organization, and I'm looking forward for my next fight in the UFC.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Thanks a lot. Chad, congratulations on the win. Just kind of talk us through those kind of final closing moments of the fight there and what was going through your mind.
Yeah, I knew once I got him on the ground, I'd have a huge advantage. So when we laid it in side control, I just want to take my time. That's where I worked the whole camp. He ended up giving me the mount, and I felt very secure there. He's very flexible, so he's bringing his legs up high, so I just had to keep a nice high mount and just pick my shots. I knew it would be a matter of time.
It's always great, like, coming to check out fights here in Canada. These fans they're a different breed. What's it like for you just to kind of compete and fight in front of them?
It's awesome being the hometown guy out there. They were going crazy for me, So, like I've always said from my day one, I definitely want to be the Canadian guy, and I'll fight every single fight I have here today.
I was eavesdropping here. You talked about, I guess you were not hurt in that fight, correct?
No, I wasn't hurt at all. Galore's super fast, man. I don't even know what he hit me with. I'm here a straight left or a straight right. He didn't hurt me at all. All of a sudden, I just fell. I was on my back, and I was able to get up like right away. But man, props to him. He's fast.
Is that what you really had to train for? Was like his speed? Because he seems to be just watching it, like he's all over the place.
And he's super skilled. Who was a huge asset for this fight was this guy right here, Tom Roberts. He's a world karate sport fighting karate champion. We sparred thousands of rounds getting ready for this fight because Galore's got a very awkward style. And if I hadn't trained with Tom and a bunch of the other karate guys, I would have been in big trouble for this fight.
Is it an awkward style? Is it just karate in the UFC? Is it kind of awkward for you guys?
It's not traditional what most guys train, which is like boxing, kickboxing, and Muay Thai, right? So he's very dangerous, man. He's one of the best in the world at what he does. So we worked really hard with my coaches Leo, Andrew, and Tom. He headed up the karate part of it, and we systematically were able to break it down for him.
So noticing that his style was the karate was the main plan, just to try to close the distance and get your hands on him and get him onto the ground?
Main plan was keep distance from first round. I knew that I actually didn't think I'd finish him in the first. I thought I'd finish him later on. I knew I had better conditioning, so whether my coaches made the game plan for me was stay away early, which you see I did. Give him space, because if you commit too hard and you make one mistake early, it's lights out, which almost happened, right? He ended up dropping me. And then as the fight went on, then I was starting picking up the pressure. But I got one takedown in the next game.
So besides the one shot that you said that he got you, were there other parts of the fight that maybe surprised you that he did, or maybe something that you're maybe not happy with your performance that you wanted?
No, he didn't surprise me. He was fast, he was explosive, exactly what we prepared for. I didn't necessarily think I'd get the takedown that easy. It was on the first shot. But I worked really hard for this fight. I didn't take Galore lightly at all. He's 5-2. He had 2 losses, but they're both DQs. So he was 7-0 with 7 knockouts. So I did a 13-week training camp for this fight, as if it was a world title fight. So it's just nice to go out there, get that first round finish. That's 3 finishes in a row for me on UFC. So I'm hoping to get a big fight after this.
What makes sense for you?
you know, I would love to fight a guy like Bilal Muhammad or Yancy Medeiros, guys who are kind of like established veterans, guys who I respect, who have been around a long time, who would bring a good fight to me, you know. So really, I really don't care, but just somebody who wants to come out there and fight and not just hug me and hold me down forever, you know.
And you kind of mentioned earlier, you said about Canada. I know we had GSP come, he goes, but for you as a Canadian, are you trying to put the Canadian MMA on your shoulders? Are you wanting to step out there and be one of the guys that wants to represent what Canada has to offer?
Absolutely. You know, I was the first Canadian to ever win the Ultimate Fighter. I'm definitely the hometown guy. You know, I take great pride in fighting for my country, and I want to be known as the Canadian guy.
It seems like Canadian MMA has had a major kind of boost this year with the return of GSP, and now that momentum seems to be back, you know, are you hoping guys like yourself and everybody, you know, and other Canadian fighters, specifically within the UFC, can kind of latch onto that wave, because GSP is not going to be around forever, and hopefully kind of, you know, take over that spot for Canadian MMA in the future?
You know, that's definitely the guy. I want to be known as the Canadian guy. You know, so it's awesome to have George back right now, but obviously he's not going to stick around forever, and I want to be the next George. You know, he definitely carries himself with class, and he's super humble, super respectful, and I want to follow in his footsteps.
Cool. Thank you, sir.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Because just as an observer, like, you seem to be able to grab some sort of energy or fighting spirit when both of you guys are just look like you're running on fumes. Like, is that just from the training? Is that just in you? Where does that come from?
Well, my coach, Marv, who I love to hate, but I still love, puts me on this cable. Now, most of you guys, if you watch my Instagram stories and stuff, it is you know, there's a 100-pound cable or a 200-pound cable. He puts it on there and he makes you go for 30 minutes nonstop. Now, you'll have a fresh guy jumping in at you and they're throwing punches, and you're sitting there 30 minutes. It doesn't matter if you have anything in you, these guys are coming after you to take your head off. So I've been in that situation throughout my whole camp. I've been beat up my whole entire camp. The thing is that helped me out is that I had to finish my 30 minutes. And I was only 7 minutes into my 30 minutes right there, you know, like, so that's how I learned to deal with it, you know, it's just training the way that I'm going to fight.
When you're trading like that in the first round, like, what's kind of like going in your head in that moment? Because it's like, it's crazy, like some of the kind of punches that you guys were swinging, like a split second and can connect with the chin and it's all over, right?
Yeah, that's possible. I sit there and think, well, if he can hit me, I can hit him, but I just have to find a different angle to hit him. So I knew that when I hit him, I knew that it hurt him when he tried to wrestle me. So I knew I was getting the better of the power. And, you know, I just wanted to bang, so he just kept, every time he kept going in, he kept going for the shot, so I was like, all right, you know, I guess we're going to wrestle, but that's fine. I need to work on that. That's something I need to work on personally. I used to wrestle, and I got away from that because I learned about striking, but this is the big leagues, man. I need to get my wrestling game up, you know. I had a guy that doesn't wrestle take me down. That hurts. Hurts.
I'm sure you'll take the quick knockout, but is it fights like this that you like to take yourself to so you can push yourself to that limit? And do you like to just, because since it's such a grueling fight, you get to show so much of your heart and so much of your skill, do you like fights like this better than maybe going in and getting a quick knockout?
I like finishing the fight soon, yeah, for sure. I don't have this many fights like this in my life, you know. I don't want like CTE at the end of my time, like sitting there and not be able to pick up a spoon, don't get me wrong. But I don't mind them.
Now, I was going to ask you about CT in particular, but like, how are you feeling? Like, I mean, I know you have some cuts and stuff, but is your meat?
Dude, I got violated by the doctor. All right, my nose was broken. I'll post pictures later. My nose was crooked. I didn't know it. And he was like, "Oh, it's caved in." I'm like, "Oh." He's like, "Well, I'm gonna stick my finger in there and just pop it out." So he shoved his finger all the way up my nose and like did something like, I don't know what he did, but it made a loud pop and I felt violated. But my nose is straight and I can breathe better.
On behalf of the MMA community on Twitter, there was a lot of chat about your beard that you'll probably see when you get your phone. How much work do you put into that thing?
I was born like this. I go and get it cut and trimmed up because if I don't, it would go crazy. And Tyron, like, he has a beautiful beard, and I'm challenging him. I need to know. It's dead serious. You guys are smiling right now. No, don't smile. This is a better position. Sorry. You may be the champion at 170, but I'm the champion of all UFC with this beat.
Let's talk about a little bit of those vicious elbows that you were throwing there. Is that something that you were hoping that you'd be able to get to use in this fight, or and when you do land one so flush, how good does that feel?
Dude, it's awesome. Man, like I said, we train those elbows all the time. Marvin Eastman, gosh, man, he's an amazing person. He sits there and he shows me all these techniques in this arsenal, and he's only giving me this much. Like, I only know basic. I haven't got into this like whole elaborate stuff, all these 16 points of elbows that I can throw, which most of you guys probably don't know, but it's awesome. I'm hitting pads every day throwing these elbows, so when I actually got to unleash the elbow, which right now after you just said I hit elbows, I feel it right now, right when I moved it. But it's awesome, man. It felt great. I didn't know if they were hurting him, but I knew they landed.
Yeah, it seemed like that last elbow, you were throwing hooks and you threw that elbow. That's what let him do the double leg takedown. When he came in and shot into you, did you feel like this is a desperate man right now?
Yeah. You got a striker wanting to shoot, which we kind of knew that. We kind of knew he was going to shoot, but it didn't matter. Like, I'm ready to go anywhere. I felt like I handled myself pretty well when he did take me to the ground. But again, that dude's strong, that dude has will, and he took the fight on short notice. He made the weight. Like some opponents on this deal that didn't make the weight, but he made the weight, he took it on short notice. Dude, that guy is going to be forever. I'll never forget him. He gave me this opportunity. I would not be here if it wasn't for Darren Stewart. So hats off to him.
Is there someone that makes sense for you next?
I don't really know. I don't know anybody in the UFC. Let's be honest. I don't know the whole ranking systems. I don't know any of that. I just want to go for the goal. That's it. That's why we're here, right? We want that strap. And whoever we have to go to get that, then yeah, I called out Rockhold and Whitaker. No one's going to get that. But hey, that's a goal, right? Are we not allowed to have goals here? So, I don't know. Who do you want me to fight?
That's a good question. That's where there's UFC matchmakers around to kind of figure
Right.
that deal out, right?
Sean Shelby and Mick Maynard, they know what they're doing, and they know how to put entertaining fights. Do you think they did well tonight with this card?
Yeah.
I think it's awesome. You got some knockouts.
Some good stuff.
We got some pretty wild fights tonight, and still we have a few more fights left over. You know.
How's your kind of to put a bow on it? What's your experience been like here in Winnipeg?
Dude, it's been amazing. We came here on Saturday, me and my buddy Sean, and we've just been venturing out. Like, it's cold. I love the cold. You know, I'm from Kansas City, Missouri. Missouri, by the way, not Kansas City, Missouri. So I love that place. I love it. It's my home. But I live in Las Vegas now, so I don't see snow. So we came out here, it was snowing, felt like a little kid. We walked out there, yeah, it was cold, don't get me wrong. It's 20 degrees outside. It's pretty cold, but you bundle up. We ventured out throughout the city, we looked at some stuff. Some of the food, questionable, suspect, but some of the food that we had was really delicious. So Winnipeg's amazing, man. I want to come back here.
So how do you celebrate the win?
Well, my family's in town, and that's all I really care to go see. I really don't get to celebrate the win until I see my baby brother. Man, that's one person I haven't seen in a while, and I'm kind of getting a little emotional. I've been away from him for 13 weeks, so I really want to go home to Kansas City, and I will for the holidays, and I'll see him. But I got my older brother, I got my dad here, my stepmom, my cousins, some good friends, and I got my cornerman here, so that's all I care about. I can sit there by poolside drinking water, because I don't drink, but drinking water and enjoying it. That's a celebration.
What's the kind of like, obviously your brothers, and there's a special connection there, but why did that make you kind of well up to kind of like see your brother after it's been so long? Have you got some sort of special bond with him?
Yeah, I'm Cuban, man.
Right.
We're tight.
Yeah.
Family means everything. Because at the end of the day, without these cameras here, without, all these fans here, I have my family. They've been there, they knew who I was from the beginning, from before I fought. So they've been supportive of me the whole entire time, and that's all I care about. Literally, if I went out there and lost tonight, guess what? Who do you think I'm going to go home to? Who do you think is going to come for me? Who do you think is going to sit there and still accept me? They're not going to turn their back on me. They're not going to say anything. So that's my celebration. I do it for myself. I fight for myself, and I enjoy it. But I have the support of my family, and that's all I need.
Have you got a chance to talk with them yet, right after the win?
No, I haven't. You know, they're texting my coaches right now, so I'm ready to have my dad down here. I want to see him because, you know, if you guys know my dad, like a lot of people in Kansas City know who my dad is. He does a bunch of refereeing, and he's so into MMA. I was the reason why he got into it. So to see that look on his face after he knows his son won, it's amazing. You know what I mean? Like, hey, Dad, we're in the spotlight. That last name, Marquez, his last name, it's in the spotlight.
So your dad was a referee?
Yeah, he does refereeing and judging.
For MMA?
Yeah, over there in Kansas City, Missouri.
Okay, so is this just like a family thing? Are you a family of fighters? Like,
no, so how it was, like, growing up being Hispanic and everything, like, we always loved boxing. We were all into boxing and enjoying that. So we'd have these huge parties at home, and, like, we're going crazy. We're cooking up pigs. We're doing all that good stuff, and we'll watch the fights. And then after college, you know, I needed something, you know, wrestling. And I actually never told my dad that I was going to go to MMA. And I went to this place called, at the time, it was K2L Grindhouse. And I went there, which today is Glory MMA and Fitness, owned by James Cowles and Zach Cummings and Joe Wooster. I went there and I started training for a long time. And a couple weeks before I had my first fight, I told my dad. And then after my first loss, my dad was very angry because the judge, or the ref said, hey man, like, way too soon. So he decided to go to school, like do all the classes, do all the courses, get into it. Then he became a judge, and he's actually a really well-known judge in Kansas City. A lot of people know him. It's how it is. I mean, we're a bunch of fighters. But to answer your question after rambling on, my family's Cuban, and they came over here like in the early 70s. They came over here, so they've been fighting their whole entire life. They've been fighting to put food on the table. They've been fighting for a better life for me. So we are a family of fighters. You know, we come from poverty, and we made something great from it. So that is what a true warrior is no matter what, not giving up and providing for your family.
Congratulations, sir.
Awesome.
Good check.
Thanks
Congratulations.
a lot. Appreciate it. Jan, congratulations on the win. Over the course of the 3 rounds and the 15 minutes, did you think that you had done enough to get the decision?
Yeah, I feel that you know, when the fight will start, I feel that I'm a little bit better. And every minute I take, you know, points by me. So I feel that decision is in my side. In second round was knockdown. So I feel that I won the fight.
Did your expectations of what he would bring to the table get matched by what he did in the fight?
I think that people will fight like this. That was what we think without my coach. That's what I will do. So that's it.
It looked like you were really working on keeping the distance, doing the jabs, and doing the striking. What was the game plan coming in? Was it to try to keep the distance and then?
Yeah, that was kind of like game plan. Making busy by stand-up and looking to take down. And it's all. I've got good left side, you know, left hand and left legs. God gave it to me, so
yeah.
I always use it in fight, and I feel it.
Well, tell us about the leg. I know you wanted to choose to sit down and stuff, but I mean, how are the legs? How are you feeling after?
Because I kick a little bit. He kicked me also a little bit by the shin, so I feel pain. But it's not really bad, but I think 4 days and will be
good. I know it's just the fight just ended, but if you think back on the fight, is there anything that maybe didn't go as you planned, or maybe that things that you want to go back and work on, or?
I should use more low kicks and more right hand. But I think my game plan was 75%.
You seem to have a lot of success, especially the first 2 rounds, angling out from it because you seem to go very straight lines. Was that something you just, when you watch tape, you read on it?
Yeah, we watch his fight, and we know that we have to make a lot of moves to the side, not only to the back and the forward, so we have to change the sides to be careful with his really hard punching.
Was he? Did anything surprise you? Was he stronger or quicker or anything?
No, he was completely. That's what I think he would.
What makes sense for you next? There's a fight card in London in March.
I would like to fight there.
Yeah.
I said before that if Bisping would like to finish his career in 205, he can do this with me. But I know, I'm kidding. Doesn't matter. I never choose my opponent. UFC, if they give it me, I can fight with everyone.
Do you like fighting this far away from home, or do you like to maybe keep into Europe? Or
always it's something good when you go somewhere and something bad. First today when I come here, we try to find a shop with fruits and stuff like this, and we cannot find it. In Poland, I know everywhere where is it. So, but I can visit a different place. So I like to be in different place, meet people, different part of the world. So that's a plus.
And what are you going to do to celebrate your victory tonight?
Today I drink 2 beers. Tomorrow I come back to Poland, and I don't know. I come back to home to visit my family, spend Christmas time with them.
Only 2 beers?
Yes, 2 beers because I don't like fly with hangover. Okay. Okay, coach. And I can drink 3. So
Cool.
Cool.
Awesome. Thank you, sir.
Cool. Thanks, Jan. Thank you very much. Glover, congratulations. That was an amazing performance. Where does that rank for you in terms of some of the best performances you've put on in your career?
Man, like I said before, you got to prove yourself every time you step in the octagon and keep proving, I didn't want to just throw crazy punches, and a lot of times I go too aggressive, and then I got caught with stupid punches. At this time I was taking my time more, and even though he was punching a lot more, but I was seeing everything that was going on. So, just focus a little more on speeding and footwork and, and everything else is just there.
It looked like Misha's hand, you got touched up a little bit at the beginning. Did anything hurt you?
Nothing hurt me really, I was seeing everything, he got a couple punches that get in his own, but everything, like when you see the punches, it's much easier to absorb the punch, and I didn't feel these punches at all, it's like I was saying before, I was trying to time in the right punch, and every punch I throw, I was connecting him, it was just about timing and speed.
When you went for the rear naked choke, how close did that feel? How tight was that?
It wasn't tight at all because I didn't get him under the chin, and I was in the bottom, so he was up higher, so I knew I had to go to the mountain, so maybe I could do something in the mount. So I went to the mount, but he tuned it quick, but when he tuned, I was in the top position, so I just spread him out to the ground, and I did the ground and pound there. I was looking for the choke, but I just got to pound him until I see the choke was there. So, but the ref stopped before, so that was good because those pretty hard shots.
Would you consider just waiting now for the title shot, or would you be happy to take another fight in the interim?
We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. I don't call these decisions. The UFC do whatever the UFC wants me to do, and my manager, he's managed my career. I'm here to fight. If he says it's a good idea and we're gonna do it, and that's what I'm here for. I'm not here to wait for a title shot. Of course, I love to have a title shot. Of course, everybody loves to have a title shot. But my job is over here is to fight. And if I'm healthy, I will fight. I will fight anyone.
I don't know if you've seen this yet, but when you won, Jimmy Manuel went on Twitter and he said, "I'd like to fight Glover Teixeira in London in March." Would that make sense for you?
Of course Jimmy Manuel wants to do that. Jimmy Manuel is like he lost it he lost his last fight. I lost my last fight, my fight before this, and I get a guy with a loss. Who down the ranking. And so I risk I risk a lot of things, but I lost the fight, so I have to get back in the winning. Right now I'm in the third in the world. I don't know. Is that what makes sense for UFC? Did my manager say that's right? Then we do it. I don't mind fighting. I fight anyone, anyway. But the thing is, there's a Jamie Manuel right now is in a position to want me fight me in London. Why don't he come to Brazil and fight me? Or Connecticut? Or New York, I don't know. That's where I'm from. Because he's gonna fight in his backyard, and I'm gonna have to go fly to London to fight him. Nothing against. I love to go in London, but come on, man. Give me some credit over here. It's of course, I was calling a Cormier right after my last loss. Take it easy.
How do you maintain be at such a high level for so long at your age? I mean, it seems like physically you're still there and you have all the experience. Is it just healthy work ethic?
Hard work, discipline.
I got a dream. I got that fire inside me. I got a dream. I gotta get up in the morning. I love the sport. I love to fight. I love to be here and hard work. I work hard, and I know what I have to do to fill up my dream, to reach my goal. And I love it. I love to do it. And I don't know how long more can I do. Everybody keeps saying, "Oh, he's 38, he's 38, he's 38." I'm feeling great, man. I'm feeling great. Look at my fights. I fought a 30 years old guy. Look what I did. It's not about the age. It's about the passion for the sport. It's about passion that you have for something.
There's so many champions in other divisions that are at the moment angling for like a super fight or a money fight, and it kind of holds up the division. It must be pretty good for you to know that there's a champion in your division, like Daniel Cormier, that is essentially just fighting the next contender in line, right?
That's why I have a ton of respect for Cormier, and I know it's not, it's not all about up to him. I know the UFC, they have, a lot of things. But yes, that's why I have tons of respect for the guy. It's not like I love the guy, but it's a business. He has something that I want. He has something that I want for so long. Besides, I've been in the sport, and I want that. And I have to fight. Very tough opponent. Fight.
How do you think the fight between DC and Volkan Ozdemir will go down?
We talk about DC. We talk about this. I mean, I talk about DC because DC is the champion. He proved a lot. Volkan, he's a very tough opponent. Very dangerous. I don't know how I see this fight, but with the experience that I see DC winning. That's why I've been talking about so much about DC. But I'm not taking Volkan away. I'm not just respecting him or anything. The guy has power. Obviously, look at his last 2 fights. He got some power. He's dangerous. So we see what happens. This is gonna be a tough fight.
Would you maybe want to go and be there for that fight? Because sometimes when a potential top contender is present during fight week, is sitting cage side, that kind of helps add to the possibility of securing the next fight.
Well, I'm actually I'm gonna visit my family at that time. I wasn't thinking about but we'll see if I'm the next contender and Dana wants me over there. I delayed my flight, man. But I have to do that. I delayed my flight. I miss my family so much, though. But they understand that.
Cool. Congratulations.
Thanks a lot, Glover. Appreciate that.